He had lived in the house for 6 years before the baby arrived. In 6 years, no one had ever used the word still to describe him. 3 weeks after the baby came home, it was the only word that fit. Gus was a 6-year-old golden retriever. The family, Petra and Noel Holloway, and their newborn daughter Simone, had brought Simone home on a Tuesday in February, the kind of cold Tuesday where the house smells of warm wood and the light comes through the windows at a low winter angle. Gus had met Simone in the doorway, nose extended the careful greeting of a large animal reading something new. Then he had lain down beside her, not on top of her, not pressed against her, beside her, at a deliberate distance of about 8 inches, his body oriented along hers the way a companion orients parallel. He was calm. His breathing was slow. He was, in every observable way, simply present. Petra thought it was his instinct for warmth and closeness expressing itself. Noel photographed it and sent it to his parents. The behavior continued the next day, and the next. Gus began organizing his day around Simone's sleep schedule, lying down when she slept, closer each day by a degree or two, always at that measured 8-inch margin. He was never anxious near her, never restless. He was, if anything, more focused and more deliberate than he had been in years. On day 8, Petra noticed he was pressing his nose, very gently, toward Simone's abdomen during her periods of deep sleep. Not her face, her abdomen. The same spot, roughly the size of a palm, in the upper left quadrant. He would hold his nose there for several seconds, exhale slowly, and then rest his head on his paws and watch. Petra mentioned it to her sister in a phone call. Her sister said it was sweet. Petra didn't say anything else about it for 5 more days. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. On day 14, Gus escalated. He began moving to that spot on Simone's abdomen more frequently. Not just during sleep, but during wake time, when the baby was in Petra's arms or in the bassinet. He would approach, position his nose near that specific location on her left side, hold his inhale, and then look directly at Petra or Noel and hold that eye contact for 3 to 5 seconds. Noel was the one who said it out loud. He keeps going back to the same spot on her stomach. Petra looked at him. Every time, Noel said. Left side. Same place. She took Simone to their pediatrician the following morning. Dr. Constance Add, 15 years of pediatric practice, listened to Petra describe the dog's behavior with the clinical neutrality of a professional who has heard stranger things and learned not to dismiss them. She palpated Simone's abdomen during the examination. Her hand stopped at the upper left quadrant. How old is she today? She asked. 18 days. Dr. Aid ordered an ultrasound. The imaging showed a mass in the left adrenal gland, a neuroblastoma, stage 1, the most treatable form of the most common solid tumor found in infants. Caught at 18 days of life. The pediatric oncologist, Dr. James Reinholt at Children's Medical Center, reviewed the scans and sat across from Petra and Noel and told them what they were looking at and what the treatment options were at this stage and what the long-term outcome data showed for detection at this age. He said, I have been practicing for 19 years. I have never been told about a case like this, but I can tell you that adrenal tumors in infants produce a specific volatile organic compound profile, breakdown products of the hormones the tissue releases. That is detectable in human breath and in concentrated form, likely in surface proximity. At 18 days of life, this is the earliest detection I have seen in my career. The difference in outcome between this stage and stage 3 is not subtle. He paused. The dog was right. Has your dog ever shown sustained, focused attention to a specific part of a family member's body, the kind of attention that didn't stop? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. Simone had surgery at 6 weeks of age. The tumor was removed completely. At her 3-month follow-up, imaging showed no residual disease. Gus came and sat beside her on the day Petra first placed her on the living room floor after surgery. He took his position 8 inches away. He pressed his nose once, gently toward her abdomen. He held it there for 2 seconds. Then he lifted his head and turned to look at the window and exhaled. He has not returned to that spot since. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Petra keeps Noel's photograph from day 3. Gus lying beside Simone in the February light, both of them still, the dog's head on his paws, The baby asleep in the pale winter sun. It looks, in every way, like a sweet domestic moment. He was already working. Tomorrow, a dog who detected something in a wall that changed how a family thought about what a dog's nose is for. Dr. Reinhold sent a note 3 weeks after Simone's surgery. Not a standard follow-up letter, a personal note, handwritten on his office stationery. Petra kept it in the same folder as the ultrasound results and the surgical consent forms and the discharge paperwork. In it, he wrote that he had described the case at a pediatric oncology conference, not to sensationalize it, to raise the question he had been sitting with since the morning he reviewed Simone's imaging at 18 days of age. What does a dog actually detect when it detects this? And how early? He said he did not have the answers. He said he thought the questions mattered. Petra read the note twice and filed it. Gus is still in the house. He is 7 now, slower on the stairs, grayer at the muzzle. He still lies near Simone when she sleeps, though no longer at that precise 8-inch margin with his nose aimed at her abdomen. He has reordered his position. He lies now with his head near her feet, watching the room the way a dog lies when the specific job is done and the general job remains. Simone is 11 months old. Her follow-up imaging is clear. She does not know any of it happened. She will not know for years, perhaps ever, the complete shape of what those first weeks contained. What she will know, what she already knows, in the wordless way of an infant who has spent 11 months watched over by something large and warm and present, is that Gus is always there, that he is always near, that when she is put down on the floor, he repositions. That is not nothing, that is in fact everything. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. Subscribe so you never miss the next one.